Hello, fellow overthinkers, metalheads, and neurodiverse people of all ages and genders. My name is Chris, and I am joined, as usual, by South America's leading statistician, although that might not be true, Marilia. How are you doing, Mari?
Hi. So...
Not much to say?
No, not today. I'm very tired.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, same here. I've had a shit day, to be fair. I just thought I'd do like a weekly check-in, or daily check-in with you. How are you doing?
Okay.
All together? Have you had a good day?
Yes, it was good. Tomorrow's going to be my last day at Pathways, but at the same time saying goodbye to my clients. I get very attached. So it was
Must be kind of an emotional day for you then.
Yeah, well, I think tomorrow's going to be even worse because I'm going to say goodbye to my colleagues.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's not fun to say goodbye when the person is just like in the beginning or in the middle of the recovery. But it got to be done. It needs to be done, right?
Definitely does. Yeah, it does. If you're moving jobs, you definitely need to do all of that. I've had a pretty shit day, to be fair. As I've told you all day, I must have woken up at the wrong side of bed.
I notice.
All my day. It's just, yeah, exactly. We do voice messages all the time on WhatsApp, and all today has just been fuck.
And you were in that, those kind of moods that you're in or someone is in, that is just like you give them all the solutions and everything is crap, and they crap on it and they crap on it, and it was like, just fuck off. That's how I was at some point with you today.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry.
No, I was just like, yeah, that's fine. He's going to get over it.
Well, okay, today we talking about the Manosphere documentary that has
very spicy, isn't it?
Yeah, very spicy. I don't know what you thought of it, but it's really, really pissed me off. But yeah, I just think it's one of these topics that people don't talk about that often, because it could lead to arguments, but the reality is it's actually happening, and it's happening now, and people are affected by it, and especially men who are told to man up. And Mari, you've done a lot of research, our statistician.
I've done quite a few, yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. We will talk about toxic masculinity, but I think that we're going to bring this topic in a very different way of how people usually think. We're not going to talk about the feminist side. Well, we will at some point, but I think that it's good for us to focus more on the boys. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing, and I'm probably going to just put you in the corner a little bit.
You can put me on the hot seat as much as possible. I am a man. I don't know if you can tell, but I am an actual man.
Sometimes I doubt that. But I'm not paying to see if it's true or not.
Okay, no worries.
This isn't about men being toxic. It's about the pressure put on men to be a certain way. Like, don't cry, be strong, don't show emotions. And this is just not just an opinion. Even the psychology bodies of the American Psychological Association have linked these ideas to poor mental health in men.
Yeah.
Very sad. I'm even crying.
Oh, do you want a hug?
Nice. Boy. I want a hug. Don't touch me.
Okay, sorry, crack on.
Okay, so obviously me and you, we watched the documentary by Theroux, Inside of the Manosphere. So I was watching it and I felt quite scared. I found it scared that normalizing those type of content it's abhorrent. And especially when you realize a lot of the content don't really have scientific backing, and that's what scares me the most.
It's all made up, isn't it? The whole thing. I don't call it the Manosphere. Every time I've referred to it, I always call it the Boysphere. They're boys. They're not men. They're immature, adults. I was going to say immature men, but they're not. They're immature adults, which, yeah, I'm trying to think of the word. But, they are just boys, and they are influencing, and their main demographic is young men. Yeah. And they're telling these young men how to treat women and how to live their life, how to hate. There's a lot of hate in what they're preaching. There's a lot of anti-Semitism. There's a lot of homophobia. There's a lot of racism. They're teaching young men a lot of stuff that should not be taught. And these young men are very gullible. They're very naive. They're still soaking up a lot of information. And influencers are on the internet to influence. They're basically just influencing all of these young children to be
a certain way.
To be the worst part of themselves. And if they grow up to have girlfriends, to have wives, God knows what is going to happen with these young men when they're getting older, because the brain doesn't develop or fully develop until you're like mid-20s. There is research to show that. I don't know if this is true or not, but I don't know if female brains mature earlier than male brains. That might be a lie. I don't know.
I don't think it's the brain develops mature. It's just that I think girls, they want to be more independent, I guess. Me, who is the mother of boy and girl twins, born the same day, like literally a minute apart, I see the difference between my little girl and my little boy. He is much more baby than she is. She's more independent. He needs more hands-on stuff. I think that depends also in each person. Can find boys that are quite mature depending what they went through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the whole thing of the Manosphere. I think that there's no base. The Boysphere. There's no base on whatever they're preaching. There's no scientific base. There's no studies of, even if it's not like a proper scientific study. I mean, like studying people, isn't it? The community. Like, for example, when they say women only want money, that's not true. Women can make their own money. Yeah. You know, and the whole sperm myth, like, come on, if you get someone pregnant, that baby is not going to be previous partners' babies. It just doesn't make any sense.
So for the people who haven't yet watched the documentary, I know we're coming to this late. This has been out for weeks.
A few weeks now.
We're coming to this late to talk about this, but we feel that it is something that does need to be talked about. But there'll be quite a few people that might be listening to this. Hopefully, some people do listen to this, that might have not seen the documentary. So do you want to explain this sperm myth that you were just talking about?
Well, if someone didn't watch it, I would recommend. Louis Theroux is brilliant. You know, so it might have some spoilers here. So if you haven't watched it and you really want to watch it, I would say pause this podcast right now and then go watch before you listen to us. So yeah, the myth is that, so there is a study that is very slim, that is about that the woman carries the DNA of each of their partners. But that's a myth. And apart from that, what they're saying in the documentary is that, well, what the voice from the Boyspheres were saying is that if you get a woman pregnant that have multiple partners, that baby might be born with the DNA of another guy. Because when I know. It's not funny because you're misleading people into this, and there is no scientific background into this. So it's just,
I mean, this is
nonsense.
Common sense. I mean, it should be common sense, really, that just doesn't happen at all. I mean, it doesn't really need scientific study. It's just should be really common sense.
Yeah, there's no scientific. So there is no scientific evidence, and biologically, sperm doesn't stay in a body like that. It's not feasible.
There are hormones. There are hormones that do kill off, and I don't know. I don't know the actual hormone name. But I do know that, like women that take the pill, it increases that hormone, and that's the reason why it stops the woman from getting pregnant, because that hormone is in the body and it's there to kill off anything that does enter the vagina, pretty much.
Yeah, and just to you know, I didn't do any research on this, I just know. But the hormones that the women take for the pill, just if the guys are interested, I'm sure the girls will know this, but it's estrogen and progesterone. So normally, because the cycle is 28 days, right? So you take estrogen for a while, I think it's about a week and a half or something, and then it changes to progesterone, and that will block from you to getting pregnant. But yeah, it's very normal that guys don't really understand how the woman's body work. Not only because they're not that interested, but because there is not as many studies on the woman's body as much as on the men's body, if that makes sense.
Okay.
There is way more, like recently we found out about having some sort of toxic substance in tampons that is
Oh,
actually really bad for your body, and you are sticking up there, isn't it?
right.
So yeah, very toxic for the body,
Yeah.
and it was very recent. I would say like 2 years ago, not much more than that.
And this is
You
just
know,
scientific research that has just come into play now, recent scientific research.
yes,
Oh,
because so there is so many things in the world that is made for men, the men's physical body and weight and all that. Like for example, seatbelts. Seatbelts are not tested on women.
well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, they are made for men. So yeah, if we're gonna go there, we're just gonna talk feminism here.
yeah, we, we,
Let's-
we we could do a whole different podcast on feminism
about
if we wanted
feminism,
to.
girls.
But we can move on to the man up culture side of things, because I think from a very young age you're basically told what you're allowed to feel and what you're not allowed to feel, really, and that is basically the man up culture,
Yeah.
which has been around for years before everyone started. I don't want to say started on the mental health bandwagon. The mental health has been around for a long time, but it's only just people have only just started to realise in the past 20 years that mental health is actually a really, really big thing.
It's as important as your physical health.
Especially in men who are told at a very, very young age to not cry. You're a man. Hard. Grr. Men are supposed to be like the givers, the bringers, the providers, the people who hold everything together. That is how men are taught as at a very, very, very early age.
Yeah.
And
I think that's when it gets quite serious. Sorry to drop the stats here, but because of this mindset, it's actually harming men. So, for example, in the UK, there are about 3 times more men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than a woman. And it's about 75% of suicides are male. And that's from the ONS, Office of National Statistics.
I can understand why, because there's a lot of pressure on a man's shoulders. Women, I don't want to go down the stereotype again, because women do work, but back in the day, back when men were told to be the providers, there was quite a lot of housewives about, and everything was on the man's shoulders to provide for their family. And they're
not allowed to talk about it either.
And they weren't allowed to show emotion, or they don't show emotion. And I mean, I've been there. It builds up, and all of that build-up eventually just explodes. And that explosion can be one of many things, and suicide is one of them. It's very, very, very serious. And if you're saying 1 in 3, did you say 1 in 3?
No, it was men is 3 times more likely to commit suicide.
3 times more likely
than a woman.
Wow.
So if you count 75% of the suicides overall in the UK, 75% are male.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think that's very dangerous. Another thing as well, talking again stats, men also more likely to not reach for help. So they would not ask for help. That's and true. That data is from the World Health Organization. It's not just coming out of my brain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I think that tells us a lot, and we're literally telling men not to feel.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why men are struggling. You know what I mean? It's just a no-no for me.
When do you actually think it starts? This whole man-up culture. Do you think it just starts as childhood and it's basically drilled in by the father, or do you think it's just maybe at school through social peer pressure?
Definitely house in your house. I'm not saying that school is out of the questions. I think that there is a combination of things. Again, this is my personal opinion. There is no statistic here. So I believe that it's from a young age. I don't think it's just the father. I think that there are women that are very misogynists. as well. They're very like, no, you need to be a man. I'm not gonna give names, but there was one time that I was in a friend's house and our kids were playing, and then her boy went under the table to pick up something from the floor, which is, and then when he got up, he hit his head on the table and got hurt. He was, what, I want to say 8, 9 tops. And then he started crying, and then she grabbed him. She went on his same level as him and said, boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. Don't cry. Stop it right now. And I was like, my God, I would never, ever do that to my boy.
So I have an 8-year-old, and there has been times when obviously he's fallen over, he's hurt his knee or something.
Yeah.
And I have said, you're all right, it's okay, just get yourself up, it's all fine. I don't know if that is part of man-up culture, or me just saying to...
Well, I do that all the time.
Yeah,
to my boy
exactly.
and my girl.
I've never ever said to him, you're not allowed to show emotion because grow up to be a man. You're a boy, but ended up to be grow up to be a man. I've never once said to him, do not show emotion. But if he falls over and he's hurt himself, and I'll tell him to get up and he's just fine. Because you know what kids are like, though, don't you? They fall down, they cry, they want the attention. Oh, mummy, daddy, blah, blah, blah. And then they get up, and then within about 2 minutes, they're off and playing again.
Yeah, yeah.
My son broke his arm when he was 4 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
The day before his 4th birthday, he broke his arm. And even that break didn't stop him. It didn't. He was running around play areas and everything.
I know. I have the tendency to do like they hurt themselves. I have twins. It's crazy. So I have the tendency to just like, oh, you're gonna live.
Yeah.
You'll live.
And we all do that same thing as well, where they bang themselves, and wherever they've banged, maybe their arm, maybe their head, maybe their legs, you just come out with a pretend knife and just say, right, okay, it's time to cut the limb off. It's fine. If it's hurting, it needs to come off.
At least they laugh though. They're like, no.
Yeah.
I need my arm.
So going back to the man-up culture then, because it's one of those phrases. It sounds harmless, but it does a lot of damage to people. Do you really think that people realise what they're actually saying when they say that? Because it's the amount of damage that man up, be a man. People saying
it's gonna show in the future, isn't it? It's
yeah,
gonna
exactly.
show in the future, because that's one thing I mentioned to you when we were talking about the documentary, is that those men, they're like, oh, I'm happy because I have all this money and I can do whatever, and then I can sleep with multiple women, even though I have my wife at home looking after my kids. And then I was thinking, are you really? Because even though money can kind of get you to be happy, but how hard it must be to be him. Like running business the way he's running. The stress, it must be humongous. And then apart from that, there's obviously the haters that he's putting himself out there on the internet. And then obviously he's going to have people that is going to push back, because in the end of the day, he is talking shit,
They all are talking shit.
So I'm just thinking, are you really happy? Because he doesn't really sound very emotionally balanced to me, or emotional intelligent. Like when he was saying, oh, when I go on a date, the ginger guy, the American.
Yeah, I don't know his name. It's just
he was like,
they all blend into one.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. So they're like, oh, I'm going on a date, and then they ask, oh, do you have a wife? And he was like, yes, here it is, the wife. And then I was like, shit, man, chill. Blimey, even Louis Theroux said that.
Slightly aggressive?
He was like, yeah, slightly aggressive. And then I was like, damn right. This guy's going to take a gun out of here anytime soon. How is that happiness?
I don't know.
How is that happiness? It's not for me.
Me and you were talking off podcast about this, where we were talking about the monogamy side of things. What was it? I keep forgetting the name. It's like
one-sided monogamy.
One-sided monogamy, yeah. And you were saying to me, a woman probably doesn't even obey the one-sided monogamy. She's probably out there. She's probably out there just doing something with another guy, and her husband doesn't even know. Because,
I know, right? He's always busy.
Because if that happens, I would be, to them, I'm not saying to everybody, but if that happened to them, I would fucking laugh my head off, because they deserve it.
He's raising kids that is not his, and he doesn't even know.
They fucking deserve it, because they are a bunch of TWATS. So yeah,
we're avoiding that word.
Well, no, twats, cunts, fuckers.
I don't use those words. You know me. I don't use those words, but I must say they are a bunch of cunts.
Yeah, they really, really wound me up. But yeah, the one-sided monogamy side, that part of it does not work that way. You should not be doing that, and the woman should really just look at that and think, right, okay, big red flag.
To be fair, in their defense, if that's what they want, you know what I mean, fine. Don't go spreading lies. If that makes them happy, that's my position into the relationship. Is she wants the money. She's happy getting all the bills paid and living the luxurious life while he screw half of the world. If that doesn't bother her, which I doubt that it doesn't, but if that doesn't bother her, let's put it in a position where it doesn't. Then fine, if they're happy. Just don't go spreading this and saying that women just want money, because not all women want money. Some of them do, you know, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the woman that is with him. She's with him because of his money, not because of who he is.
I think all of the women that we saw in that documentary, in my personal opinion, I think that they are with the guy just for the money. Because all of these boys, which are on that documentary, they're all successful in their own way. They've got, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers, and a lot of people.
Money.
They make money. They make a lot of money. Like one guy was saying, he made or still makes over $3,000 every week or something, which is a lot of money. And when they're walking around the streets in Marbella or wherever it is, people come up to them and they're well known. So they're making a lot of money, and it's the money, I think, is a driver for the woman to stay with them, because what other reason do they have? These guys are treating the woman like an object. It's pretty much it.
And another thing as well that I think it's quite a touchy subject is when one of the dudes in America, he's American as well, but quite big, he goes, and there is a clip on the documentary that says, if you want to put your penis inside of her, you're going to put your penis inside of her, and she can't say no.
Yeah.
This is where I have the problem with. Like, if you want to live your life that way, I'm fine. Doesn't affect me. The problem that I have is when you go on camera and spread that rape is okay.
Yeah.
And then it becomes violence. That is where I draw a line. I said, no, you shouldn't be allowed to talk like this to young boys. You shouldn't allow to teach them that, because that's not the right way. If you rape someone, you will get prison time. There are consequences to this, and it's not okay to spread this type of hate and ideals. It's not okay to do that.
Everything that they're spreading, everything on their podcasts, when they're preaching to their followers and whatever, it's all anger-based. Anger is mainly the only emotion, and it's mental when you think about it, because it's mental, because it's basically the only emotion that they come out with, and
which is really sad.
Yeah,
like I feel sorry for them in a way. I feel sorry because it's just like, what happened to you? What happened to you that you feel so much hate towards women? Like, what happened? And that's what makes me wonder. I was acting like this.
I was just trying to think, because when I was watching that documentary, obviously there was a lot of father figures that weren't about. I don't know how that would affect the anger towards women. I don't know if it's because maybe they were brought up by their mother and they resent their mother in a certain sort of way, and that's potentially the driver for their anger. I'm not a therapist. I can't delve too much into their brain, into their mind, but yeah, I don't know. It's there's a guy on that documentary who was the main guy, the HS Toki Tiki, whatever his name is, Tiki Toki Clocky. He said that his father was absent throughout his childhood,
Yeah.
and Louis Theroux was trying to break down why he was showing so much anger towards women and bringing the man up culture to young boys and young men. And I personally I can't see a correlation of where the father figure disappears, because I mean, I personally, my mum and dad were divorced at a young age, and I was brought up perfectly fine. And me and my mother, when I was a kid, there was a lot of arguments going on, but I don't resent I don't resent my mother in any sort of way. She was a brilliant single mother. She was a brilliant single parent. She brought me and my sister up really well, and I've learned all about being a man from my mum. That's
But
that's
you
the
were
truth of it.
lucky. In the end of the day, not all mothers are perfect or,
No,
good mums. So obviously we don't know the background of those boys in details to be able to analyze it. And again, I am not a therapist or a
no,
counselor or anything like that. But I guess being a single mom, I am a single mom. It is hard, and you don't always make the good choices. You don't always get it right, and you make mistakes, and that's something that parents are always going to give trauma to their kids. It doesn't matter what you do. The thing is, it feels with that amount of hate that something very drastic happened in those boys' lives when they were boys, younger boys. And also, I remember there is a scene of that H Tiki Talkie, whatever it's called.
HS Ticky Clocky
I,
Tocky.
I don't know
Yeah.
his name. So there was a scene that he showed that he actually went to confront his dad about leaving and leaving him with his mom and
Oh
stuff.
yes, I remember
And
that.
and
Yeah.
and then at the same time he made this decision to get followers and to get the whole content stuff, you know what I mean? Because more drama, more people watching. But one thing he says, "Oh yeah, it's fine. It is what it is." Not really. You can touch the resentment that he has over his father leaving, which means that he didn't really process all those emotions that comes with it. He's bottling up, and what it comes out, hate.
Yes.
And for
Exactly.
me, again, that is not happiness. It's not.
If we're going to talk about young boys without dads, young boys in general, anger in young men, we could bring up the TV series Adolescence. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, that is a brilliant series.
It is very well written.
Very well written. It's recorded with no cuts. It's just like a full.
Yeah,
Every
I heard of
episode
that.
is every episode is just like a full on. There's no cutscenes whatsoever. I don't really know how they do it, but it's brilliant. And the main actor, I don't know his name. I've not researched it. I should really know his
You
name.
mean the boy?
The boy.
He is great.
Oh,
Oh my God,
Jesus
he's
Christ.
good.
If I could give that guy a handshake just for that series, he made that. He scared me in some of those
Yeah, I
episodes.
know.
So
Proper
fucking real.
psychopath. So I want to bring a little bit of the stats on women and
Okay.
how this behavior affects women too. So in the UK, 1 in 4 women experience domestic abuse. 1 in 4, 25%. And
a
again,
lot.
this is from the ONS, Office of National Statistics.
And we're not talking about physical violence. All of it. It's mental as well. I
Yeah.
mean, even controlling relationships
Yeah.
is technically.
Coercive
techni-
controlling behavior,
Yeah.
and then that links back to control, entitlement, emotional issues, everything that we just talked about, the emotional issues, and these emotional issues weren't dealt with, So it's very simple. Just look, you have all this money, now go do some therapy. Look after your mental health, mate, because that's what you need. So you gotta treat your mental health, because otherwise you will go a little bit loopy. And so I just wanted to put that out there, the impact on women, and obviously the young boys and social media, like adolescents.
I had a question for you actually. I said,
Yeah, go
well,
for it.
what do you think that the young boys are learning right now from what they're seeing online? Because the stuff that is available to them on the internet, there's a lot of stuff that they can just get a hold of. And I think at the moment we, not me and you, but we, the royal we, everybody in the world, where we're trying to protect children from the stuff that they have online, or stuff that they can get access to by parental controls, or I don't know, other like softwares that people can be using to stop children from seeing what they shouldn't be seeing, like porn or violence or whatever. But there are ways for children to get on there and not be monitored by parents, because I mean, I know for myself, I have an 8-year-old who, and I know I shouldn't let him do this, but he goes on my YouTube quite a lot and then complains that he's been watching scary videos and he can't sleep at night. Well, just don't watch the scary videos. He has his own YouTube account set up, but he knows a way of getting onto mine. Because he's not stupid, he's fucking clever. And a lot of these kids can bypass some of these controls to get on to what... Because watching kiddie videos every day is just going to get boring to them. They just want to move on. So parental controls for us, we get to decide the ages of the videos that the kids can watch. But then we don't always update these parental controls. Once we've got them in place, we think that they're going to be in place forever. But I set up the parental controls for Isaac when he was 5 years old. He's now 8. He doesn't want to be watching 5-year-old videos. So when he goes onto his YouTube account, all the videos that are going to be showing up are for 5-year-olds.
Are you sure?
And he's, well, yeah, that's what the parental controls are set to. 0 to 5. Anything above that is...
Some apps you put the year of birth of the child.
Oh, okay.
So they
well, maybe it does automatically update then. Massive technophobe. Don't know how it all works.
And that's where I was gonna go. Like, we're lucky. I understand that I'm from a background that got the information, got the studies. Same goes to you. Not everybody gets the opportunities that we got. And as a parent, I understand a little bit more about technology. I can keep an eye because I have all this knowledge that thankfully I grew up with a family that could afford private schools and stuff like that. However, not everybody gets that and they don't know how to do it. Like you said, I'm a technophobe. I don't know how to those things work. And that's when it comes, like, I think there is like a shared responsibility there. I think that the platform needs to have some responsibility. Obviously the parents, because it's their children. But you need to understand that you're dealing with the public. You're dealing with people that might not have that knowledge, don't know where to find this knowledge. And I understand that we live in an era that it's very, there is information everywhere and it's kind of easy to find it. But not everybody has that background. Not everybody has that savvy of computers and researchers and stuff like that. So I think that the platforms should be responsible.
The thing is, technology is evolving. Back when I was a child and we sat on computers, my mum had no idea about PCs. Computers had just come in, internet was up. Like, parents at that sort of time had no idea how to operate computers. And now the whole thing has evolved into something a lot bigger. Now I'm an adult, I'm a parent, and children are basically doing coding and everything at school. I don't understand most of this shit at all. Now I feel like I'm in my mother's shoes from when she had first bought her computer for me and my sister, and we were on the internet learning how to use this computer and how to use the internet, how to use chat rooms at the time, how to set up apps and all of that. And now, because it's all evolved, I have no idea. Like, at the moment, I'm recording a podcast.
It took a while for us to learn all this stuff.
It took a while for me to learn how to do all this. You should see my Google search history. It's, how do I record a podcast? So yeah, it's no idea.
It's a bit scary. What worries me the most, I think, is how early this starts, isn't it? There's actually growing research showing social media algorithm push more extreme content because it gets more engagement. So as long as it's extreme, then the social media will push that through. And that's where I think that the platform should be responsible. Because if you're
Yeah,
pushing some content through to people to watch, so in such extreme thing like hate and violence and all that, I think that the platform should be, I think it should have policies. The government should bring laws and policies for those platforms to be responsible to what type of content they're putting in there. I
yeah.
understand that there already exists, like when it comes to what's it called? Information. It's called fake news, isn't it?
Mm.
So when it comes to fake news, I think Instagram or Facebook would block your profile for a few days or something like that because you're spreading lies. But it should be more than that. We got into a part of technology developing and all that, that the big names and the big platforms should be responsible for what people are posting in there.
Well,
You
if we're
know?
talking about spreading lies, it's not just the platform that should be responsible. It's the person who is spreading the lies that's responsible as well. It's the person who is creating the content which is violent and trying to get the most views on the platforms. Like
Yeah.
going back to the Louis Theroux documentary, one of the guys purposely set up a meet to basically attack a guy and film him on
Bully,
camera
attack, humiliate.
just for likes. That I mean, that is just immature in its own right, really.
Again,
Nobody
more
should
shocking, more people watch it.
exactly that exactly, and it's not just the platform; it's the actual
Yeah.
people that
Yeah,
should
this
be.
type of content shouldn't be allowed. I
Yeah.
think what the thing is, I think they're quite clever about that. I think that they post it and then they remove it just to get the likes.
Well, that's what
By the
happened on
time
the
that the platform,
documentary, isn't
yeah,
it? They
wasn't
posted
it?
it, then they removed it, but then he's got some sort of marketing team behind him. I don't know what marketing team like
And they blame the
wants.
marketing team.
Yeah, I don't know what marketing team wants to be associated with these people. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But his marketing team or his team that's behind him, marketing team, is they removed it but then posted it in clips, so it wasn't the full video. They clipped it, so it was still up and still gaining the likes, and
shares, the
attention,
likes,
the shares, and everything. So he was still making money off it. But like people, I don't know what platform they put it on, like TikTok, Instagram, whichever.
TikTok, I think,
Yeah, TikTok should not be. They should have
allowed.
policies in place to not have that on there. It's like, there used to be. I don't know if it still exists. LiveLeak. Have you heard of LiveLeak? The website LiveLeak. Oh, there was all sorts of videos on there, like gory stuff. Yeah, I don't. I won't go into it, but there was a lot of stuff that should not have been shown on the internet on that website, and think like platforms like TikTok should have policies in place because they must have policies in place for indecent exposure, right?
Yeah.
Some person like showing the genitalia or some person half naked. There must be or there should be something in place on these platforms for them to just remove that content. And surely that's the same with violence. Has
Yeah.
to be. There must be a way
You know,
of just
there
detecting
is.
violence.
Like, for example, and I'm not 100% sure about the YouTube and the Instagram, but I know that, I mean, TikTok. I know that YouTube, back in the day, they didn't have anything to filter what was posted on YouTube. I watched a documentary a few years back. I think I was living in London when I watched it. It's called Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh, that's a brilliant documentary.
So,
I
um,
love that documentary.
so I was watching a little TikTok about this documentary about Don't Fuck with Cats, and the guy just uploaded him killing cats and shit,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? And then he killed a person. That was in Canada. But back then in 2010, YouTube didn't have the filters and stuff for you to post, so he managed to post that,
Ah.
you know. But now YouTube does have this type of filters or policies in place so people don't post violent stuff. But I think that TikTok mainly it doesn't have as many policies, and I think that the Manosphere they use another place called it's like a WhatsApp but without the policies. Yeah,
Telegram.
it's Telegram. So, I guess that obviously there is the responsibility of the parents to not allow the kid to go on Telegram, you know what I mean? But there is also the Telegram responsibility, and I think they should be fine. And I think people need to be held responsible for if a young boy rape a girl because Manosphere told them to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be just the boy. It should be the behind the scenes thing should be responsible too.
These people from that documentary are going to eventually get their comeuppance because of what they're preaching. Someone somewhere around the world is going to take what they preach on the internet for granted. They're going to go out there, they're going to force themselves on a woman, and then in court or somewhere they're going to say, oh, well, that's perfectly fine because so-and-so online told me to do it when I was a child.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get their comeuppance, and they're going to get investigated, and there's going to be, everything's going to blow out of proportion. On the documentary, we only saw four of these people, and there is probably loads of them. I don't understand. They get women on these podcasts on their documentary on purpose to ask them questions to make them look stupid. Did you see that? They had women. It was basically him or somebody.
The girls from OnlyFans.
Yeah, from a room, just on a room.
Just
to
humiliate them.
Just to humiliate them. Ask them questions like, "Can you name me 5 countries in Europe?"
Yeah, easily.
And then one goes, "Oh yeah, Barcelona."
It wasn't even in Europe. They said, "Oh yeah, bless her." Oh my God.
Yeah, poor lass.
But it's just, she was just put in a spot, isn't it? But name 5 countries then. You know what I mean? Ask him, send the question back. But that's the thing, they're there. He is authority figure, isn't it? So there is a lot of coercive controlling behavior in this guy.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Okay, so I want to move on to the mental health ignorance now. I think a lot of people talk about mental health, but they don't actually understand what mental health is about. So depression, anxiety, emotional regulation, these things are complex and they need to be studied very properly in psychology and not just around clips. So it's very hard to pick those guys and try to analyze them. And when they talk like, oh, mental health doesn't matter and stuff like that, they don't know anything they're talking about. So there is quite, I can see a lot of ignorance on that group of men in this manosphere. Their ignorance. It's not that they are a little bit violent and scared and stuff like that, but I think that they just don't get it. They just don't have the information. And again, I feel sorry for them. That's how I feel. I feel sorry that you are this person.
Yeah. They're going around calling themselves the real man, aren't they? On that whole documentary.
That's not being a man.
That isn't being a man. And we can go into this now where we were talking again off camera. You have your TikTok crush.
My what?
Your TikTok crush. You know, your speech prof.
Oh, yes, he's great.
Yeah, he's brilliant. We saw a video by this guy on TikTok, the speech prof, who was basically just commenting on one of these men saying that a real man is a man with skid marks in his fucking boxer shorts. Come on, guys, get a fucking wash. Men are not around to be these smelly, farty, gassy, skid marky, mucky people. I mean, I shower twice a day. Sometimes.
I think that's why we're best friends. We're best friends with a Brazilian, that's why.
I've always showered twice a day. I've been taught all the way growing up showering twice a day. If I see skid marks in my son's underwear, then I'd be like, well, number one, they're going in the wash first off, and the second thing is, number two, he's going in the shower or he's going in the bath and he's washing himself.
And you're going to teach him how to do it properly.
Exactly,
right?
100%. Yeah. In my opinion, being a man is, fair enough, you're providing for your family. And if you don't have a family and you're on your own, or if you have children, your part of being a man is being there for your children. And another thing, yeah, exactly. Another thing on the Manosphere is one of the guys, when it got brought up, said, I don't do nappies. I don't do bedtimes. I don't do stories. I don't do this. I don't do that. I mean, that's not being a parent. That's not being a man. That's just being ignorant, lazy. I think, if anything, you just go into work, coming home, and expecting your wife to do everything. And yeah, you don't do that, guys. If you're listening to this, you do not do that, and I'm pretty sure you don't do that. But
please, guys, don't do that.
Definitely, 100%
You never.
That
like
is not.
Women don't have to put up with this stuff. You know what I mean? No, you're an adult. Clean yourself properly. I think there was one guy that said that you can't like if you sit down on the toilet to poop.
Oh yeah.
You're gay. It's physics. Yeah.
Can you imagine all of
It's
these
physics.
people, all of these people that he's preaching to, right? Do not sit down on a toilet to have a shite because you are gay. So, all right, okay, this 16-year-old gullible child is now just going to go to the toilet, stand on the toilet seat and squat, and then probably miss.
I know. That's just gross. That's personal hygiene, guys. If you're gay, if you're bi, if you anything, doesn't matter your sexuality, doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your gender, you have to clean your butt.
Yes.
Simple as that. You know what I mean?
Not just your butt, everything, because
yeah, you gotta clean your body. You have to have personal hygiene.
Men are associated with being smelly, body odoured, gassy, farty, whatever. They are associated with all of that, and women are associated with beauty. And if a woman farts, it smells like rainbows and unicorns. We all know that's not true.
My fart smells of flowers. My poop smells of flowers.
Yeah, okay. We're associated. We're associated with being. We're associated. Sorry, jeez. We're associated with being the body odor, smelly people. But I mean, that just comes down to personal hygiene at the end of the day. If you're not taking care of yourself, that's down to you.
So a little bit more about the trauma and the background.
Okay.
So I think that the people preaching all that, I think they need more help than anything else.
Definitely.
You know, they need help.
They need therapy.
And to be, they do need therapy. Hardcore ones, like, you know. And I don't want to say all men are toxic and like that. I don't think it's just men. I think that women also can be toxic and violent, and they can be raising boys to be toxic and violent, you know what I mean? So it's not just men, but the difference is that how society shapes the men, especially around emotions. And I think it's very easy to say, oh, I'm a feminist, let's change the world and everything, which I am. Don't get me wrong. I think everybody should be feminists because the only thing we want is equality.
Well,
you know.
I'm a feminist.
Yeah. So the thing is, we need to teach boys about equality too. So it's not just the boys' fault or their parents' fault. I think as a society, we need to teach women to be stronger and fight for their rights and everything. But we also need to teach the boys how to live in a world where equality is in place. Okay, so for the solution, I think that we should mention great organizations that are trying to change their view on men. You know, for example, there is the Movember Foundation, the focus on mental health and getting men to open up a little bit more. There's also being pushes in the UK schools to include more emotional education throughout PSHE, and the Movember Foundation becomes Andy's Men Club. And I was the one saying, you need to go!
Tell you what, Andy's Man Club, my first impression of going to Andy's Man Club, right, is I started walking, I saw the Andy's Man Club sign, and then outside I saw a bunch of, like, old or middle-aged men smoking. Alright, mate, whoa. And I was like, what the hell have I got myself into here? And I was like, oh, for God's sake, I don't really want to go now. Because my first thought of seeing them is I was intimidated. I saw all of these men outside and I was intimidated because they were big. They were like brawling. They looked like
proper cowboys.
Yeah, they probably looked like plumbers, bricklayers, whatever, all of these outside smoking, talking shop, and I had no idea what they're talking about. And I'm an introvert, and I was just really quiet. And
Coming
then you
out
go
of
into
your
the meeting.
comfort zone.
You go into the meeting, and they start talking, and they are the sweetest guys, And this comes back to the first episode we were talking about with metalheads. See these guys covered in tattoos and piercings, thinking that they're going to rob you and whatever, but they're not. They are the sweetest people. And these guys at Andy's Man Club are real fucking men. If we're talking about the Manosphere is Andy's Man Club, because they are really, really good people. So yeah, if you are struggling as a bloke, I would thoroughly recommend it. You might be stepping out of your comfort zone. You might feel a bit intimidated when you're walking up to these guys, but don't, because when you start talking to them, they've been through a lot. You could learn through a lot. You could learn a lot from all of these guys. Yeah. So yeah, if you're struggling as a guy, it took me a long time to get out there, and it took a lot of berating from Mary, who told me to keep going and keep going and keep going, and eventually I did. I was intimidated at first, but now, I mean, even Monday just gone was a bank holiday, and I couldn't go.
So let me just interrupt, because I was going to say that. So for who doesn't know what Andy's Men Club is, so Andy's Men Club is a meeting that happens every Monday all over the UK. So just Google it, guys. Google it, and you're going to find a place close to you that you're going to find a meeting, and it goes from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. every Monday, every single Monday, obviously, apart from bank holiday, which was, well, yesterday, because today is the day that we recorded. But
I think as well that me not going out and getting all the stuff off my chest might have been a precursor to my bad mood this morning, because I had just nobody to talk to. I know I've got you.
Fuck off.
I know I've got you, but yeah. I mean, just talking in that bunch of guys and just getting loads of stuff off your chest, especially men that have been in the same situation as me, they can give advice, I can give advice, and having those people to talk to gets a load off my shoulders. So I think maybe that might have been a reason. I don't know. My mood is, I don't know my mood. I don't know what the reason my mood is.
Your brain is...
Yeah, I could wake up on a morning, I could be perfectly fine. I could wake up on a morning and I could have like a really, really shitty mood. I'm an up and down sort of person. But because I didn't have AMC to go to on the evening of Monday, it might have been the reason why I'm in a bad mood, or was in a bad mood this morning. So yeah, guys, if you are feeling down, if you do really need someone to talk to, don't just man up, go and talk
about it. And then obviously we have a global as well but in the World Health Organization has highlighted the need for more gender-specific mental health approaches. So obviously Andy's Men Club is here in the UK. If you are from another country and you're listening to us, please drop us a message, and we're happy to find some support on your side of the pond.
On solutions as well, again, I don't think all of this, what we've discussed anyway, gets fixed overnight, but the small things, Andy's Man Club, and what were the other solutions you came up with? Therapy.
Go to therapy.
Exactly.
Get your mental health checked.
Even the smallest things make a difference. And yeah, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, overthinkers, neurodiverse people, everybody, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I think we should end this there.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing. I think that this episode is not about blaming men. It's about understanding what we've been teaching them and changing it.
I agree.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much, Chris, for this wonderful time we always spend together.
Yes. Yeah? It's always a pleasure, Mary, and until next time.
Until next time.
Turn it up and let's talk. Bye, guys.
Woo!